I bring up this issue of Muskomal for a reason, and that is you mentioned Santa Claus at one point.
Ah, right. I was hoping we could talk about this.
And what has Santa Claus got to do with Amanita muscaria?
Red and white.
Red and white is color. First, Santa Claus is normally spoken of as Saint Nicholas, who was a kind of hermit down in the Mediterranean on the south coast of Turkey, right?
Okay.
But there's no connection whatsoever between that figure on the Mediterranean coast and all this snow, reindeers,
glowing
winter.
nose, right?
Yeah, I mean, so we're obviously talking about two narratives that have been kind of woven together as an act of convenience, I believed, as Christian missionaries attempted to convert the Scandinavian countries to Christianity from paganism, so that in the Santa Claus imagery are embedded original elements of Scandinavian shamanism.
Wow.
Okay, these fly agaric or Amanita muscaria are typical of all pine forests at a certain time of year, autumn, okay, which is when they're collected. And if you don't collect them, the reindeer will eat them.
Wow.
Now, if the reindeer eat them, you can collect the reindeer's urine.
Right.
And use that as well. And, you know, all these practices were current. I don't know if they're still going on, but they were current. They were preserved all the mushrooms and dry them out, ready to ingest them during the winter solstice.
Wow.
So
there was in the Greek or in the Roman records, there was this historical document that was unearthed. And it was a record of civil penalties that were handed out. It wasn't like people that were sent to jail, but people that were publicly excoriated. What's the word? There was just a record of punishments and people who were penalized for certain misdeeds. And one of them was that there was a official, and I forget the name now, but his crime was misuse of the sacred store of mushrooms, that he accessed this store of mushrooms and gave them to his guests on a day that wasn't in the officially sanctioned mystery time. And it still lives to this day that they would sneak in then as now. The officials were caught with their hand in the cookie jar, but in particular to host a party. Anybody who's done mushrooms, by the way, it is so akin to Kundalini. And in fact, the experience, very much like Kundalini, puts you in touch with a strange intelligence that is you, but it's not you. And it feels very much like a visitation or an inhabitation. I think you'd mentioned in one of your talks with Venice, the possession cults, that I've never had a more palpable experience of possession by a greater, in fact, higher order being, as you mentioned earlier, than these moments. So I certainly can understand how that might be the intermediary between us and these higher ideas. Also, Santa Claus, related to Kundalini, not the red and white, the two colors of Kundalini, but Santa Claus.
Of course, the gifts are all kept under the tree, aren't they?
Oh, the tree. For me, it was the chimney. He comes down the chimney.
Well, he comes through the chimney because the doors are blocked in the winter solstice in Scandinavia with the snow.
And so the
and
tree
the reindeer
too.
are flying by that.
And the reindeer are flying. That is brilliant. And the good boys and bad boys, you can even kind of see the sexual, there's a huge thing that I hope we can discuss about sexual retention and the sacrifice of normal sexual expenditure. There's a list of good boys and girls and bad boys and girls. But the idea that you come down the chimney, the axis mundi, and then you give presents. And I never thought of that, the flying reindeer. And somewhere in there's a fantastic joke, I'm sure, about the glowing red nose.
Apparently, they gave the mushrooms as gifts.
Wow!
In that season, apparently there's ethnography for these Scandinavian and shamanic, Russian cults. but I haven't found the original sources. I've only found people talking about it, but without giving the actual references. Apparently there's a substantial ethnography behind this. So one of the contexts in which this issue of other dimensional beings occurred very vividly was, you know, the work of the Esalen Institute out in Big Sur, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've spent some. That's
And,
that's where I met Rupert Sheldrake the first time at Esalen.
Okay.
Terence McKenna. Well, in fact, a number of just for a period of time.
It
some
was
of the
quite a
smartest.
place,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was quite a
Yeah.
place. Esalen, absolutely. Beautiful.
So this guy, Leonard Orr, had developed rebirthing breathwork. And he went to Esalen, and apparently he taught it to Stanislav Grof.
Okay.
And Grof, you know, is a research psychiatrist. Was probably one of the inventors of LSD, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Certainly a major distribution node for a while.
But the way in which Grof conducted rebirthing was like with, you know, like wild breathing and wild music, so that it tended to bring up very profound experiences from the people undertaking it. It's not the way we'd normally do it as a therapeutic approach, but as an exploratory approach, it was pretty wild. And one of the experiences that people over there were bringing up was that of being abducted by aliens.
Wow.
Now, John Mack, who was the head of psychiatry at Harvard Medical School, was over in Esalen. And Stanislav Grof, as one psychiatrist to the other, said to him, "What do you think of this, John?" So John went off and made a longitudinal 10-year plus study of people who were suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. That's to say, the most extreme form of anxiety disorder, for which there was no causing or causative agent. There was no trauma, but they had PTSD. And what they found is in deep regression under hypnosis, they started surfacing fairly consistent accounts of being abducted and being taken to the White Room and having these, you know, like experiments done, especially the extraction of sperm and ova. This is interesting from the point of view of, let's call it the other worlds that exist within the field of consciousness.
Wow.
So it looks like every paradise or nightmare that you can imagine probably exists as a bubble of consciousness within the larger field, okay?
Wow.
That can be visited.